Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson, here to bring you guys another wonderful episode of the J Lounge. Of course, everybody knows out there the J Lounge is a celebrity-based podcast show where we talk with actors, directors, designers, singers, you name it. They all come down here and they all have a wonderful time. As per norm, I am very excited for my next guest. My next guest competed on season 18 of Project Runway. Their clothes are designed to make you feel important, sophisticated, and all around sexy, I might say. Everyone, please give a super, super warm welcome to the amazing designer himself, Marquise Foster. Hi,
Hmm.
Marquise.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain. I'm glad to see another day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. Well, Marquise, I'm so glad to have you on here today. But I'm going to go ahead and fire the first question at you. I want to know what began your passion for fashion and designing?
Okay. So what got me into designing was, when I was 15, I was in a modeling troupe in Louisiana, and just being a part of that troupe kind of inspired me to, create my own style to display because we was doing fashion shows for college students. So at the
Hmm.
moment, it's just like, what can we do other than just show off regular clothes from the store? So I, started to utilize, in that era when I was 15, bagginess was in. So,
Yep.
utilizing, baggy clothes and baggy shirts to like add details to them. So I will use like the fat shoestrings and cut slits into the shirts and weave shoestrings into the shirt to create my own type of design.
Oh, I love.
So since then, I just always wanted to have something that was a little bit unique and different that, everybody couldn't, get themselves. So that's what really sparked my interest in wanting to design. And then in high school, my senior year, got into fashion merchandising, and that's when it really took off. At the time, Top Model was, the biggest thing on
Yep.
TV. And, I started season one and watched it and fell in love. And that kind of sparked me into wanting to, you know, try to put on my own collection. And at the time as well, we did a yearly fashion show. So for me, that fashion show kind of, was just like the nail on the hammer. This is
Yeah.
your calling type thing.
And thank goodness. And thank goodness. I really like, you know, I really like your pieces and your clothes that
Thank you.
you put out, and I even like it more now the story, because you're right. The bagginess was in back then, and I'm glad you were able to take that and kind of put your own little twist on it, a little spin. I wouldn't think of taking the fat shoelaces and inserting them into the shirt. That's
Yeah.
brilliant to me. So, I'm glad that sparked your interest because it sparked the journey that you are on today, which is absolutely amazing.
Oh,
Um, and it
thank
definitely brings me up to my next question, Marquise. I wanted to know, name three people who influenced your career and why.
you. So three people that influenced my career early on, I would say my brother, my middle brother, who is no longer with us. Just being around him and seeing his style in, middle school and a little bit of high school, back then, early 2000s. Fubu was in, Fat Farm was in, Rockaware was in,
Yep.
and, all of those things that my brother would rock, I always wanted to wear myself, so I would borrow his clothes just so I can kinda, bite off his style in high school and middle school. And I remember there was this one, three-piece type basketball suit that he had. It was like tribute to the Globetrotters. It was like a light
Ah,
blue
okay.
that also had like burgundy in it with gold letters. And that suit he gave to me. But his style really influenced my designs. and wanted to actually get into a little bit more styling, perhaps. And then also, I would say Andre 3000. You
Ooh,
know, for me, I was a unique kid in school, so I would actually kind of style myself like Andre 3000. From wearing the funky vest and the different shoes and collared shirts. And that landed me on getting the best dress in high school and most fashionable. Uh,
nice.
yeah. And also another person that influenced me back then was definitely Michael Jackson. I loved everything that
Yes.
he did from, his tours to the military style, the essence of how he portrayed his clothes on
Yep.
himself.
Hmm.
For me, that always just stood out, and I always wanted to, be the person who to stand out amongst the crowd when, there's so many people, following the trends
Yep.
of what goes on in the 2000s and things like that. And I wanted to separate myself. So those three people were my style, icons.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, especially, with your middle brother no longer being with us. So I definitely appreciate you for sharing that story. I think that's great that he was such a big influence on you, fashion wise. Uh, that's just awesome.
Thank
Um, and then Andre 3000, I've always loved his style. You can tell it's just uniquely his own. He doesn't follow
you.
any trends. He he rocks his own style, and same as Michael Jackson. I
Mhm.
mean, every trend that honestly that we have now, we got to thank Michael Jackson for because he already had that in the 80s and 90s and going forward. So um, he
So
was
true.
a yeah, he was just more than just a sparkly glove. I mean, I've always wanted to find a jacket, the same jacket that he wore, and just beat it. I've always wanted to find the same jacket like that. Can't do it, and it's so frustrating. But he was just a style icon before he even knew it. So and I just yeah.
He sure was. And one other, I know you asked for three, but there was one other,
Please, yes.
Farnsworth Bentley. Just seeing him around Diddy and how he styled himself and how he carried himself, that was, someone that I just admired as well, Farnsworth Bentley.
Yeah, yeah, because anybody that knows how to put a suit on, Farnsworth knows how to put on a suit on P. Diddy. I will
Yeah,
have to say that man's got some of the sharpest suits I've seen.
yeah,
So I do
yeah.
agree with you on that. Going on to the next question. As I stated before in the introduction, you were on Project Runway season 18. How has your life changed since being on the show?
Since being on the show, I would say I got a lot more recognition. A lot of people who now are, wanting to know more about the brand and wanting to, purchase from the brand and wanting to, just support. Back then before the show, as a black designer trying to tap into the industry, there's a lot of questionable moments for people who, don't really fully know your work or know you. So, um, Project Runway really gave me a platform to be able to, you know, push a little bit for what I want and where I want my, brand to go.
Mm-hmm.
It also gave me, the courage to be able to step into the tailoring industry and, do tailoring for film and TV, which, kind of guides me along with one of my goals of winning an Emmy for best costume design. So
Oh,
it kind
yeah.
of sparked, the urge to really get into TV and film behind the scene within designing. So and actually on season 8, 19, they hired me to create 16 dresses for the opening episode for the new designers. So that was something that,
Wow.
at the moment I was just like, okay, this is happening for me,
Yeah.
being able to design it for TV and film and, them actually be supportive of that. You know, at times you feel like after shows, what happened to people, what happened to them next.
Yep.
But noticing that these shows, especially fashion shows, tend to really do help their designers if you really have that urge and want to do something. The judges, allow you to reach out to them if anything need be. I was actually supposed to do a fashion show with Christian, but then the pandemic happened, so that didn't go. But I'm pretty sure in the future there'll be something that
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad that, you were able to be on season 18. I'm glad you were able to get that exposure. And I'm glad that the judges are, saying to you, especially after the show, that's a really good thing to know that, hey, if you need anything need be, let me know. Um, I think that's awesome. I really do.
Yeah,
And I still tell people to this day, and I'm not saying this just because you're on here, you still have made my favorite remakes of a tuxedo. That was still
thank
the
you.
best remodernization of a tuxedo still on Project Runway. I still have not seen anyone come close to that. I was like, I want that tuxedo. I want the model as well, but I want that tuxedo because you couldn't help but look at the model because he just was so strong and so sophisticated. Still the best remodernization of tuxedo.
Thank you
On
for that. I literally everyone I get the same feedback. Literally someone contacted me last week wanting that tuxedo.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Going on to the next question. A lot of designers that compete on Project Runway, one of the things that they say is they learn so much about themselves after, being on Project Runway. They learn so much about themselves being a designer. So, same question goes to you, Marcus. Since being on Project Runway, what things have you learned about yourself as a designer?
I definitely learned that I am capable to create anything in any type of garment as long as I put my mind to it. Being a self-taught designer and competed on a show where there's, trained designers who went to, schools and some who's been doing it longer than I've learned that, I'm as good as anyone else who went to school.
Mhm.
I applaud those who do go to school, but for those who don't go to school for fashion design, it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to be able to learn the craft. And, I've been on this journey wanting to learn and learn and learn. And, being on the show and after the show, it just instilled a lot of confidence within myself that, you know, before I didn't have. So
Mhm.
I'm definitely appreciative of, the outcome of how things turned out.
Absolutely. And that is amazing. And that is amazing. I'm glad that, that's one of the things that you learned about yourself as a designer. That's the best thing to learn, I think, about yourself as a designer. You are capable of making any garment, any piece, as long as you, put your mind to it. Um, that's just, yeah, that is absolutely the truth. Um, going on to the next question there, Marcus. I want to make sure my audience follows you and your work. Where are you on your social media?
So Instagram, Twitter, it's Marquise Foster. And also my website, marquisefoster.com. That's the best way to keep up with what I got going on. Yeah, marquisefoster.com.
And I highly encourage my audience, make sure you follow marquisefoster.com on Instagram, Twitter, and definitely check out uh, Marquise's pieces as well. They make amazing pieces and you'll just absolutely love them. So make sure you check that out and support that as well. Going on to my next question, what future projects are you involved with that you can give a little dish about to the J Lounge audience?
So right now I'm literally have been doing a lot of tailoring. So just kind of picking up within starting, a tailoring business as well. So that's, celebrity tailoring, and just day-to-day tailoring for different clients. So that's something that I'm working on. And for Fashion Week, I'm supposed to be doing a show on the 9th here in Manhattan with
Ooh,
um, Indie Fresh. So that's supposed to be something. It's going to be myself and three other Black designers, one who won the hype on HBO Max, and two other talented designers. So that's going to be something I'm looking forward to.
oh my goodness, yes, that is amazing. Well, make sure you keep us here at the J Lounge more posted on that because yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that is awesome. It's definitely a goal of mine to be able to definitely see a fashion show of yours one day. So that is a goal. And
Okay,
speak
I'll
that
definitely
in.
keep you posted.
Yes, please, please. All right, going on to the next question. I know you said earlier that winning an Emmy is also a goal of yours, but
Mhm.
what other goals do you hope to accomplish in your career?
So another goal that I want to accomplish is styling or dressing Janelle Monae.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
that's this. She is one of my favorites who I can definitely see rocking, a Marquise Foster piece or
Oh,
a whole
yes.
entire outfit. I just love her aesthetic of everything about her, from her style to how she carries herself to just her whole essence. That's just ideal for me, an ideal customer, ideal client for
Oh
the
my
brand.
goodness. Oh my goodness. You couldn't find a better model than Chanel Monet. That
Yes,
would be a dynamic duo. You guys being, I see you guys being a force in fashion if that happens.
yes.
So
Mhm.
let's hope that happens because that would be great. I love her style, her music, everything about her. Um, she can just wear, as you said, anything and just, yeah, she would look great in a Marquise Foster piece. That's true.
Yes,
I
I
am,
definitely
yeah.
agree.
Mm-hmm. All right, going on to the next question. What advice would you give to aspiring young designers who are hoping to have a career as successful as you?
I would say for young designers to be who you are as far as a designer, try to not follow the trends,
Mhm.
and put your work out there. No one is going to know what you do unless we see what you do, and that's the best way to gain a following, best way to gain respect within your career field, is for those people around you to actually notice and see what you're doing. For me, it took me a while to have the courage to put out, things that I created, because I was fearful of being judged and
Mhm.
fearful of, what other people may think, but, not realizing what other people thought of my designs will kind of guide me to do better and create better garments. So I would definitely, tell the youth to don't be fearful to let people see your work, and just, be who you are as a designer. There's no right or wrong way to design clothes.
That is so true. And say it louder for the people in the back. I could not agree more. I
Yeah.
could not agree more. Definitely stay true to yourself and don't be afraid to show your work. Because
Mm.
in fashion, it's all about showing, the clothes. So
Right.
we gotta be, like you said, we gotta be able to see what you can do. So don't be afraid to show what you can do.
Right.
I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, Marquise, I just have two more questions for you going on to the next one. What other passions do you have outside of fashion and designing?
So a few of my other passions, I definitely love to bake. I'm
Yes.
at home baker. I love creating things from scratch. So I've made, one of my favorites has been a sweet potato cornbread, which is just
Ooh,
so
stop the
delicious.
madness.
Yes, it is so good. And even my grandmother, she's never had a sweet potato cornbread before, because she loves making, pastries and things like that. I was like, yeah, grandma, I came across this recipe and tried it, and it's amazing. So sweet potato cornbread is definitely a hit for me.
Oh my
Um
goodness. I need the recipe as soon as possible.
Yes, it is so good. It is so good. And it's made with real sweet potatoes. That's what I love instead of
Oh
like,
my goodness.
oh, instead of
I just
like
got a beautiful image in my
flavoring.
head.
Yeah, it's so good. And I also am a gamer. Well, not like
What?
a big gamer, but I love video games. I have a, PS4, but my spare time I do like to play my video game.
Oh my goodness. I would not expect you as a gamer. A baker, yes, because I feel like the precision and creativity in fashion and baking are kind of the same thing, but not a gamer. Not a gamer. That's
Yeah.
just surprising. All right, going on to the last question for you. In your own words, what's been some of the most rewarding and challenging moments in your career?
So my most rewarding would be um just being able to speak to the youth and motivate them. I used to be a fashion teacher in Harlem to high school students. So being able to show them what they can be at a early age. Myself, I didn't have that when I was growing up. Someone who looked like me, being a designer, that I'm able to actually physically be around or even research. So showing them that this is a career that they can take as well, and seeing themselves in this career was something that was very rewarding to me. One thing that was challenging was just, I would say, getting my foot in the door of like knowing that my brand is worthy of, to be in any setting. As a black designer, it's not as easy coming into a fashion industry or fashion itself without, the confidence from other people that you can kind of be successful. You know, Everyone in fashion or who loves fashion usually love going to, the Gucci's or the Pradas or other designers who aren't of color, and just trusting them a little bit more.
Right.
Whereas for me, it just took a little bit longer for those people to trust in me, because of not knowing who I am or not being confident within the brand. So that was something challenging that I had to overcome. And, thankfully, the world got to see me in action and just, put my best foot forward, which brought a lot of those naysayers to, want to be a part of my brand. So, yeah, that was definitely the most challenging thing.
Yeah, and that's definitely, a shame that you went through that much, hardship just because, whether it be like you said, people go for, not, non people of color of design. So it just make it harder.
Mhm.
But I'm glad you're able to persevere that and people are able to see your talent, see your gift, and trust in you that, when we go to Marquise Foster, when we get pieces from him, we're going to get pieces that are timeless, that are sophisticated, that are unique.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that, people are really able to see, what you bring to the fashion table. And I definitely hope, more success comes your way.
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate that.
Of course. Of course. I definitely, if I ever make it big with this podcast show, you are definitely the first person I'm going to call for an event for a piece for this, for that. So, yeah, you're definitely going to be on my top of the call list for sure.
Well, thank you. And when you make it big, yes.
Yes, absolutely. And I was
Mhm.
going to say, make sure you speak in existence for your Emmys. I've had a couple people that been on here speak about winning a Emmy or Oscar, and then they go on to do it. I've had more than a couple people. So speak into existence because you never know.
Yes,
You never
correct.
know. All right. Marquise, it has been such an honor and a pleasure to be able to speak with you today. I'm so glad my audience is able to know you, your work. I appreciate you giving me your time today, and I'm just thankful I was able to speak with you.
Well, thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate you reaching out. And, anytime I'm definitely here to support. I love, what you're doing. I love podcasts in general. It's a different world that I get to, you know, find different people who, are interested in my brand. So I definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, I will encourage my audience one more time. Please follow Marquise Foster on all social media platforms. Follow their clothing brand as well. We want to see more of their pieces, more of their work. Just give a shout out, just give support. It'd be greatly appreciated. And of course, I want to thank everyone for listening in today on this amazing show. I want to thank my amazing guest, Marquise Foster, one more time for joining with us today. Of course, you guys know I have been your hostess with the most, Miss J, aka Miss Simone Jackson. I will be back with another great episode here soon. Till then, everyone, please have a wonderful day. Bye.